cast assembled and get them into rehearsal. We went on a 5-city audition tour in January of this year, looking for the perfect cast for this particular production, which is unlike anything else that we do. We also did internal auditions within Feld Entertainment, and we did isolate some performers from other Feld shows that we're incorporating into this cast. But generally speaking, we were looking for a whole new pool of talent that had really specific skills that emphasize different things than what we have normally called upon in other audition settings. We went to Orlando, New York, Chicago, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles. We saw hundreds of performers across these cities, and about less than 5% of the people who actually auditioned will be cast in this show. There's footage from the Los Angeles audition playing on the screen behind you, so you can get sort of an idea of what they were being asked to do. We started with a warm-up where we were testing their physical endurance, their strength, their basic athleticism, basic things like that, and getting them to work together as a group, as a team, really form a community, because that's part of what we're really looking for a touring cast, are people who will be really great citizens in addition to all the physical skills that are required for their particular role. So we're assessing them for a whole lot of things just when they come in to start registration and warm-up. We're already eliminating people and getting our eye on them. After we finish registration and the warm-up process, then we take them through a series of sort of improvisational skills where we're asking them to turn into various dinosaurs, both predatory or baby steg, for example. My favorite thing we have them do is when we ask them all to get down on the floor and pretend that they're all baby stegs that have just hatched from the same nest, and then we have them traveling in a pack towards safety, and it is just the funniest thing ever, because people generally choose to be raptors and T-Rexes and those predatory, really attack-style dinosaurs when we give them their own choices to make. But when we ask them all to become this family of baby stegs, that's where the play comes out, the comedy really comes into it, and this vulnerable little dinosaur on the ground, and they're all rolling around together. It's the cutest thing. After that, we're asking them to actually be humans and run from various dinosaurs. So they get a lot of improvisational opportunity to demonstrate creativity, which is a huge part of being in the opening cast specifically, because they're going to really contribute to the creative process and help Dan and Ross set the best action and emotional connectivity and responses and all of that. So we're looking for them to have that creative mind and to be able to come up with their own ideas, in addition to taking direction from us directly on the spot. All of this stuff is really critical in choosing the best group of people to work together and be part of the creative process. After we do that, then we have them do an obstacle course. We actually book ninja gyms for this audition.
That's amazing.
And even though they may not be uber skilled on those particular apparatus, neither are necessarily our human heroes in the storytelling, right? So we're looking for them to actually go ahead and fumble around while establishing character, telling story, and we're not giving them a script. We put 5 people together. We say, you're Allison, you're Chad, you're Martin, and you're Reed, and you need to come up with a story. You have 30 seconds, let's go. Yeah. And it really shows what their acting chops are and their ability to really network, live in that moment, and tell a story while using this apparatus that many of them have never even been on. So it's fantastic stuff. I wish that you could see it, because it's highly entertaining, and you'd be surprised at the top candidates, how they really float to the top, and none of that is actually an obstacle for them. Putting them on an obstacle course and giving them impossible guidelines, and they manage to somehow execute really exceptionally well. So from that point, we feel like we can really narrow down the group that's there, and the final exercise that we have that smaller, more elite group perform are the scene work, right? Where we'll give them dinosaur components with the human components at that point, so we're mixing them, and we have them actually tell a story. We'll give them their beats. These are the 5 beats within this story, you're this, this, and this, so it's a little bit more structured for them. And then we have them tell that story in its entirety from beginning to end as a group. So that's the end of the audition, basically. they don't know if they've been cast by the end of the audition. They have no idea how they've done. We just basically let them know that they have performed really well, they've made it into our final consideration, and that they'll be called back to a select city once we've seen everybody in all of our audition cities. So they have a really long day with us on their specific audition day, and then we bring them in for a callback. We've done that last week in LA. We had our final callback group come in one more time, and they actually got to get into the dinosaurs, which we don't have time or resources to do on their initial audition day. On their initial audition day, we're using simulated little props to see what we can get
Perfect.
out of them. These may seem like a far cry from the things that you've seen at the other stations, and they are. However, they do tell us a lot about the willingness of the performer to actually go there. Break through inhibitions, get really weird, get silly, become dinosaurs themselves. You'll see in some of the clips behind me the people who truly are actors and are conveying a lot of emotion, and it's how they're able to transfer their thought and emotion into their hand. So we're seeing that happen with these, even though they're very silly and they're meant to be children's toys. We get a lot from that, and some of them do really well with it, much better than others. You would be surprised at how people are unable to translate what they hear into their hand. That's an entire skill set of puppetry that our Dinoteers absolutely must have and be really excellent at doing. There's a lot of audio that will come to life in the storytelling, and if the audience doesn't believe that that sound that they hear is coming from that dinosaur, then we're sunk. The illusion is blown, right? So these people have to demonstrate that, and they can do that with these hand puppets. We can see that they have that comprehension and that artistry to bring an inanimate object to life. That's what they'll have to do with these large-scale dinosaurs. So we feel like this is actually a pretty good accuracy test. But when they get to their callback and they actually get into the dinosaur, not only are they living their best life, but we're able to actually sift through, well, who was really good at this portion, and now whose athleticism can actually handle the weight and all of the needs for the dexterity of all the controls inside the dinosaur, which are highly complex compared to this. Which of those people can actually do that successfully? And so we've seen about a 50% rate of people from that select group of audition cities who are actually effective in the actual dinosaurs. So that's what we're currently in the process of doing. And then we have another audition tour that'll be coming up in the first 2 weeks of May, where we're going to build even more talent into our pool so that if there are any sort of changes to the cast prior to opening, we have additional talent that's already been screened. So we're doing tons of work to make sure that we're really ready for this opening and that we have the highest level of skill already assessed and ready to go. Even if there are show changes that require different things than we thought, at this point, we'll be able to cast those people and get them on board as quickly as possible. So that's a little bit about what we have done up to this point. We can't wait to get these cast in these dinosaurs on this stage, in these fully finished dinosaurs. That's a really key too. So some of them will be inside dinosaurs, some of them will be remotely operated, others. So there's a huge range of Dinoteers that will be used for the show, as you've been hearing about. And that's that's the process that we're using to find them. And our humans, of course, are part of that mix too. The Dinoteers just require a lot more assessing than any other member of the cast. So, and there's a large group of them. So. It's the bulk of what we're really spending the most time doing. So if you look back here at the video, you'll see that's registration. They're coming in, they're getting measured by height, they're filling out electronic registration forms. We're getting all of their information, finding out what their history is. And then we do an orientation to give them more information like we're giving you about what the show is, what the expectations are, what they can do to be successful in their particular audition. And then we're lining them up. We're getting ready to do all of the improvisational stuff that they'll do across the floor. This is the warm-up, actually. And there's a lot of strength tests that are going to be layered into this that you won't necessarily see. Leg strength is a huge component of it, and you'll be seeing the weighted vests in the next station. You'll get a clue about that too. We're making them do push-ups and pull-ups, assessing their upper body strength, lower body strength. So there's an unbelievable screening process for all of these candidates. Jumping and being able to land. Imagine if you're adding weight to that, right?
Yeah.
So if they can't balance on their own, how would they possibly do that with added components and challenges and levels and all that stuff? So that's a little bit about what you're seeing here. This is them kind of bringing action to life as different dinosaurs. And we're not coaching them on that. This is them bringing their creative mind to the table. And that gentleman in the back is a good example of he's not inhibited or embarrassed, or it doesn't matter that the dinosaur will be on the exterior of him. In order for that dinosaur to truly come to life, the performer has to embody that and become that on their own if it's going to read in the costume. This is the obstacle course test where we're assessing strength. There's telling story. Each of them are assigned a specific character. We're asking them to incorporate action and comedy and storytelling and character building and character relationships. Those are eggs they're simulating with the foam blocks. They're trying to run away with eggs there. This is the hand puppetry assessment, where we're talking them through what we're expecting. They're following an audio track, and then we give them these hand puppets to execute that audio. It's very detailed. If any of you would like to experience what it's like to be at the audition, this is when their final test. And this is the audio, actually. I was going to raise it.
Yeah, it's going up.
It's a hunting sequence. So they get to listen to that audio track probably 15 times. And it's up to them to memorize the timing of it impeccably. And what they're demonstrating is not only the timing to perfection, so we believe, again, what we hear is coming from that hand puppet, which is the true accomplishment, but also that they understand lip sync and focus, and that their believability, even with just this little toy, is there. So, would anybody like to challenge themselves and try this out? You're welcome to do that. We have the tiniest hand puppet here is our T-Rex, ironically. He's the easiest to use. It's a very basic functioning puppet, right? But even though he's basic and he doesn't have any major controls or anything, what he does have are eyes, right? He has focus ability, he has mouth movement, and the subtleties that you can accomplish just with your hand are there. And you have a wrist that mocks a neck, right? So you have lots of things that you can actually create with these little toys, which we love about them. So if you wanted to sniff, perhaps, in order to really be effective with that, you have to use your whole body to make it believable. So you can play with that, and we have mirrors that are here in place for you to kind of see what you look like if you want to give it a whirl. Body helps them condition fully, so they don't get overuse of specific body areas or muscles. How important